What's up guys, it is Monday and it is a new start to the week, so let's make a video. This video here is going to be answering quite a few questions on why I am even in America right now. I think a lot of you guys might actually know why I'm here, but I'm going to explain it right from the beginning. But before we get into it, let's quickly talk about the last two videos I made about the differences between California and New Zealand that I've found so far. These videos have both collectively done about 10,000 views and it's about 200 comments. I've gone through and I've read every single comment that you guys have left on them. Thank you guys so much. You are awesome. Okay, so we're starting off from about 1,200 days ago, or 3 years and a half ago. I'd been at the same job for about 4 years and I was kind of getting sick of it, working 6 days a week and working like 12-hour days. It was really tiring and I just wanted to go travel. So I bought a ticket to Australia and then I decided to just keep going a little bit further. I quit my job and I ended up in London. So I spent a few weeks in London and I did a lot of socializing. Anyway, I met another person and she was traveling to a different country, so I was like, sure, I'll come with you, let's go. And I was completely sober, don't worry about it. So I passed out on the flight and I woke up in a different country and it was Greece. We spent about 2 weeks in Greece and I absolutely loved it. It was the best time of my life. So after Greece, me and a couple friends went to Barcelona, Spain, and this was the most scared I've ever been. So in Barcelona there was just non-stop people trying to hustle us and steal from us, and there was just creepy people everywhere. I was sitting down the La Rambla strip and in about half an hour I had seen 2 people get pickpocketed and one person just get their bag ripped off them and the other person was just running. There's a lot of crime in Barcelona. So me and my friends find a really cheap hostel and it was about 14 euros a night. Here is what the front of it looked like. It was terrifying. So it was my first night there and Daisy and one of her best friends walked into the hostel and it was like 40 odd degrees that day, Celsius, which is 100 and something Fahrenheit. It was extremely hot. So Daisy and her friend Kristen were actually staying like in our room because it slept about 10 people or so. And I introduced myself and then they asked me if I wanted to go to the beach. So we went to the beach. I think there was probably about 5 of us that went to the beach all together and we just hung out, we talked. After a while on the beach, Daisy and I were looking out into the ocean and there's a huge, I don't know, just slab of rocks that you have to swim out to. It's really weird, like it's really deep water until you get to the rocks and then there's just a huge line of rocks. So she asked if I wanted to go out there and hang out or like go explore. I was like, sweet as, let's do that. We were both swimming out there and the rocks were maybe a meter high and you kind of climb up some and then hop onto it. So she got up onto there completely fine. I grabbed onto the very top of the rocks and pulled myself up. Little did we know that under all of the rocks were sea urchins, hundreds and thousands of sea urchins. And of course, I kick one. So I get up and I know instantly as soon as I've kicked it, it hurt a lot. So I get up on the rocks, I look down at my leg and there's probably 200 spines just coming out the side of my leg. It's like a circle about this big. And I was like, oh crap. She saw it, I laid down on the rocks and I didn't tell her, but whenever I see blood, I tend to pass out. Yeah. So I started pulling them out one by one and every single one that I pulled out, a stream of blood came out. I was like, gonna faint. So I just sat back and Daisy spent maybe 10 minutes just pulling them out one by one really slowly. I got really impatient, I was feeling extremely lightheaded, so I did the stupid thing of just running my hand over every single one of them and breaking them off. I wasn't thinking, I figured, you know, they'd kind of come out, but they didn't. So I broke half the spines and they just stayed inside my leg. So after a while of hanging out with her on the rocks, we swam back and we started walking back to our hostel, and this is where we took our very first picture. This is it. I don't know why, but we never even thought about taking a picture together. We spent like 3 days non-stop side by side hanging out. We went sightseeing all through Barcelona, we did a lot of things, but we didn't take a picture. So it was probably the second or third night in Barcelona together. I took them out to a bar called Ice Barcelona, and everything in there is just completely made of ice. It was awesome. And it was just perfect because, you know, it's like 40-degree weather. So this was just really, really fun. One thing that I know that both of us are never gonna forget is we, at one point, had to leave the ice bar because it was just getting too cold. So we went and sat on the beach and it was like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and we're just sitting on the beach talking just in a circle. We hung out for maybe 10 minutes or so, then we went back into the ice bar. I realized that I had lost my keys when we were on the beach, and someone had put a stick in the ground and put my keys on top of it, and we just came back out and they were just sitting there. We figured, you know, the keys were gone, I'm screwed, can't get into the hostel. And I remember that night, as soon as we got back home, everyone else went to sleep and it was just me and her. We just stayed up, we sat on the couch and we watched movies. We watched the Irish one where he dies and leaves like a bunch of love letters for her. Can't think of the name right now, I think it's like P.S. I Love You. And then we watched Silver Lining Playbook. And yeah, we just stayed up all night until the sun rose. And the next morning she had to leave. She went off to Brussels, I believe, to continue her Europe tour and then go back home. And I remember being woken up by her that morning and she said, "Bye, I'll never see you again." I was like, oh, that's a bit sad. Anyway, she went, I went back to sleep, and when I woke up I had to add her on Facebook, so I got in connection with her. Now, probably a few weeks later, I went back to New Zealand, she was back in America, I started talking to her on Facebook. So once we started chatting on Facebook, we just started Skyping and we started talking for 12 hours a day some days, and some days we would do 10 hours a day. It was insane. We were just talking all day long and all night long. We started playing World of Warcraft together, and yeah, that's the start of me and Daisy. That's how it all began. So after about 400 days of being in a long distance relationship, I'd been in America for 10 days of that, where we actually took our first actual picture where we were both looking at the camera, and it was amazing. We just spent 10 days just traveling around California. It was Thanksgiving, so we got to go up to her granddad's ranch and eat so much food. I loved it. Thanksgiving is just the best holiday. I love it. Anyway, I went back home, we continued our long distance relationship, and then we decided that Daisy would move to New Zealand once she got her master's in teaching. She graduated and flew to New Zealand. We spent 1 year in New Zealand where we were just traveling up and down the country, just exploring, going on road trips, and just doing awesome things. So at the end of Daisy's time in New Zealand, I've convinced my work to give me 6 months off. So I've been here for like 4 or 5 months now, just traveling all over California, and I'm loving it. So about a month ago, I asked Daisy to marry me, so that is going to be the next video. I'm going to go get a haircut now, and then I'm coming back, I'm recording the next video. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like if you like the video. I mean, it supports us and it helps our channel grow. So let's do this, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode that I make. See you later.